It's a dilemma.
Like,
because I want to help people, but I don't want to get paid from them to help them. If you want for free, you can just watch on YouTube. You don't need to pay me to get it.
Welcome to the One Day at a Time podcast, where we take things one day at a time. Today in the studio, we have Kelvin.
Hey, hi guys. Hi JJ.
Hi Kelvin. Can you do a quick introduction about yourself?
Hey, so I'm Kelvin. I run a YouTube channel called Kelvin Learns Investing. Right now I have about 90,000 subscribers, but that's not important. The important part is that I think I'm having fun sharing all my knowledge about CPF, money, investing. So that's what I do right now, and I hope that it can last.
Of course. So, like Kelvin, I have been a follower of your channel for a while. So a lot of things that I think I want to ask, maybe I already know because I follow your life for the past 3 years. But I think today I really want to kind of have a conversation with you about, like why personal finance and like what maybe some of the challenges that you have kind of being a public figure per se. And just have a little bit more of an understanding of like your motivations of doing this in the first place. So you started out actually quite a few years ago, like when you graduated from uni. Like being a YouTuber was not in the cards, right?
Right.
You were a game programmer,
correct,
in a small company, making some decent, somewhat stable monthly income with CPF contribution and all that. And like some years ago, you kind of decided to put yourself out there to start a YouTube channel talking about personal finance.
Right.
So what is there any event or any kind of motivating factor, like the main motivating factor for you to kind of come out of your programmer shell and be like, I'm going to make videos on personal finance?
So I think, this to me is actually, it's not a new thing, starting new projects. So I've been, since young, right, even in secondary school, I've been doing new projects during like the holiday. For example, I remember my first project was back then there was a StarCraft game. So I wanted to research about the StarCraft units, like all these kind of things. So I printed out an entire book of StarCraft guide for myself. So that was probably because I like printing stuff, right? It feels good. So that's it. Every year I was looking for new projects to do. So that continued all the way until university. Even back then I was trying to program out new games in university. Back then it was Flash games. I did upload some games into the internet. Then the Flash just died. Then even during working, I was still coming out with new apps, new games for myself. None of them work out, unfortunately. Then when I graduated, I also starting out new apps and new games with my friends. And also that didn't work out. Mostly because I lost motivation halfway. Because when you have a partner, right, you have to rely on the partner for motivation also. And when the partner lose motivation halfway, you also lose motivation. So that continued all the way until 2019. After my last project failed, I said, okay, why not try a YouTube this time? Because around 2018, 2017, I was actually working at this job and I was quite free during the job. So I started watching finance channel during the job.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I was lazy or anything. It's just that I didn't have much to do during work. So I started watching those videos. They were like Sam Graham Stephan, Andrew Jake, those big YouTubers, finance channels. So I thought, in Singapore, since I know all this knowledge, why not just share them out? So YouTube was the natural cause. It will be my next project to do. And I didn't expect it to work out well because I've been failing all these past 10 over years. So when it worked out well, I just said, okay, let's continue doing this. And that's how I landed until now.
Right, I see. So, but essentially, like you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't exactly come across as a very extroverted person, right? You're like you're quite introverted person, probably. So like for an introverted person to kind of buy a camera, or I believe when you first started, you're probably using a phone camera or something, like to just put a camera on a stand that you probably bought from Taobao or Shopee or something, and like just be there and to put yourself out there. I think it takes quite a lot of there's quite a big hurdle, to jump. So, what do you think is the thing that is it for you, apart from like wanting to share the knowledge that you have, like through watching other YouTube channels and things like that. What is the thing that kind of really propelled you to be like, okay, I'm gonna start making videos?
I think it was just another one of those resolutions that I said, oh, in 2020, I want to start this thing. And I didn't talk about making it successful, because I've been feeling all this while. Being successful is like, it came as a surprise that, hey, this thing actually worked. Back then, my motivation is just, I wanted to share. And it's actually a natural thing for me, because back in I think it was in 2018, 2019, that's when I married my wife. I think so, yes. and I bought a house. So, and I had all these huge expenses, and I wanted to optimize on the expense. So, and because I like to share whatever knowledge I have, I tried sharing with my friends. They weren't interested in it. So I had this knowledge bottled up inside me, and I felt frustrated. So YouTube was the outlet to share all these things. So that was my only thought back then. I wanted to share what I know. And it wasn't about money or anything.
It's just really like an outlet because like nobody wanted to listen to your like formula, your theory.
Correct. Especially when you first posted, everyone was like, oh, what if people hate my video? The thing is, nobody even watch. Then there's no one to even hate your video. So now that was in the works.
So at what point did you realize that, hey shit man, this is like it's getting a bit real?
I think after I started for 10 months, that's when I first started to monetize. To get monetized, you need about like 4K hours, 1K subscribers. Then when I start earning money from it, I'm like, this is sustainable. No, it's not sustainable. This has some pocket money coming in. So so that's when I realized, if you can hit 1K, this means you can hit 10K, 20K, and so on. So that's the biggest hurdle. Most new YouTubers fail at that stage. That's when I realized also, like, there were also many new YouTubers who came after me for finance channel. Probably because it was during the COVID period. Everyone was super free. Like Chris, people like Chris. Shout out to Chris. Then and a few more. I also forgot their name, but I did follow all of them because all of us started around the same time. Then now all of them, like 90% of them are gone already, because they weren't able to pass the first hurdle. Because once you pass the first hurdle, the rest is actually quite easy already, because you already know the formula for YouTube.
So in your opinion, what is the formula for YouTube?
First of all, I think first you have to post consistently. If you want to treat this as a hobby, then you don't have to treat it seriously. But if you are intending to make this work, first you have to post consistently, because if it's your job, you don't come to work on Monday and you take the rest of the days. So that was the first thing. I posted every week. I made sure to post every week. Then during the second year, I posted 2 times every week. Third year, I posted 3 times every week. Now I'm posting like four videos a week.
So like the 10th year, you're posting 10 videos every week.
No. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think, is the personality thing. In order for people to connect to you, they must be able to connect to feel that they can relate to you in a way. So I think first is my age is quite close to them. We have about the same income as the people who watch my videos. Then probably it's also because the way I talk is a bit weird. So they can feel a bit more relatable. I don't know.
I see. So to you, that's like the formula for YouTube .
Yeah, it somehow worked out well .
But there are also a lot of YouTube channels, like no matter the genre, whether it's finance or like beauty or whatever, that there are people that post every single day, even for like a few years, but just don't get anywhere.
Yeah, so you have to find, I think it's basically just the relatability . If people can't relate to you, they won't even continue to watch your channels, your videos. So I think you have to nail that down. It won't be easy at the start, but after you post, if you have been posting for the entire year, you will more or less know what kind of videos people want to watch, because those will have the higher views. Then you will start pinpointing that and start working towards that area .
So it's basically the same as starting a business, right? To understand the value that you're putting into the market.
Correct.
To be able to optimize that value.
Yes.
Basically the same thing, and to do it consistently.
Yep.
Right. Which you have done very well, evidently.
I hope so.
Right? I mean, because I think you were one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but you were one of the first few in the waves of because during like 2019, 2020, like especially during the pandemic, there's this wave of finance YouTubers that all over the world that pop up of nowhere. And
Yes.
I believe you were part of the first few waves, especially locally.
Okay.
Right? You were part of the first few waves to kind of put out consistent content that is actually quite local. Because there are a lot of finance YouTubers out there that might be based in Singapore that their content is quite international, or like not,
Right.
or like they even talk about like the US system and like, you know, all the you know, just basically not local,
Right.
but your content is very local.
But I would say I'm not the first one. Right. So right before this whole YouTube wave, there was this whole blog era thing. So
Yes.
people like Investment Modes, Budget Bait,
Yep.
Dr. Wealth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very different because that is very blog, like written content.
Right. So then when the YouTube wave came, people like Fifth Person and the Josh Tan, a still parent, they went in earlier than me. So I'm definitely not the first.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're quite early lah. You're quite early.
Yeah. I think what played to my advantage was that I feel I'm more relatable as compared to them. Because like when you watch, not to say they are bad. When I watch them, like Josh Tan, okay, he feels very professional. Is because he's a financial planner. But
He's the real thing.
He's the real thing, correct, definitely. But I'm more like a programmer graduate who's trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Some people will find it more relatable. So if you are going to choose one of the either to watch, who will you choose? So that play to my advantage lah. So I guess that's how the way it is.
Yeah. I think it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Because it's you're more like the taster pack lah. You know, like if you don't really understand like what finance even means, but you wanna chase sort of a comfortable retirement whatsoever, like a good place to start is probably your channel lah. Because you don't overcomplicate certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think different channels like provide different types of value.
Yeah, it's different type lah. So I guess his audience are probably more sophisticated.
Yeah. So like you watch his channel, then people watch your channel. Because now you know more already. So you can understand what he's saying.
Correct,
and like think on a more critical level and things like that.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, you know, when you first started, you're just making videos consistently, like for 1 year. Right. At what mark did you have that decision that, okay, I think it's about time to consider doing this like for real? Like you can start thinking of what if I quit my job and kind of thing.
Actually, no. So 2021, I had a job, plus I was producing 2 or 3 videos a week. I didn't want to quit my job until 2022.
Okay.
Because back then my job, I think was paying about 6K lah, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, then I wanted to like at least have reached a certain amount of subscribers yet. But back then I didn't have this amount yet. So I wanted to do it for 1 more year, then only quit my job. But then as luck would have it, my company just closed down.
Right.
So I'm just straight away thrown into this whole YouTube thing. Or either that I can find a new job.
Right.
But then by that time, right, YouTube income had already exceeded my job. I was earning more than 6K from YouTube at that time.
Right.
It was like almost 50-50 lah, maybe 6K.
Right.
I wanted to at least raise it to like 10K or more lah. So, but then I just lost the job. So I just took the chance lah to focus fully on this whole YouTube thing. Worst case, my YouTube doesn't work out, I'll just go back to finding a programmer's job lah. Because I know that I am highly employable in the programming part.
Right.
Yeah.
So nothing much to lose lah.
Nothing much to lose lah. Probably my pay would be stagnant at most, but it's not that bad lah.
Right. So when you did transition into doing this full time, okay. So I think because I teach lah, right. So I see a lot of young adults, like teenagers, with the dream of becoming an influencer, a YouTuber, and like you are not the general mold or definition of what a traditional influencer is like, right? Because traditionally influencers, basically like the whole influencer wave started out on Instagram. You post like nice photos, fashion, beauty kind of thing, and you are just basically the other end of the spectrum for that.
Okay.
You are a nerdy guy that like to talk about like finance and things like that, right? So when you're going into this whole thing, did you feel apprehensive that, you know, kind of it is starting to work out? You are starting to become sort of like a public figure, but at the same time, you are a little bit different. But of course, it's because of the difference that kind of make you stand out as well. Like you talk about relatability and all that. So what were your thoughts, you know, when you were kind of entering this space, doing this like for real, and actually becoming a public figure?
Right. My thoughts since the start it's always been the same motivation to share what I am learning right now. That's the name, right? Kelvin Learns investing.
Yep.
What I'm learning right now, what I'm exploring into. So that is my thing. Then in 2020, I think it was last year, I was 2021, I was looking into cryptos. I think that was probably my biggest mistake because I was looking into crypto, so I was sharing quite a lot about cryptos stuff. Not because I think they are good for you, it's just because since I've researched, why not just post out what I know.
Right.
So my biggest mistake was sharing about this company called Holden Odaat. They basically closed down. I don't know if you guys know about it.
Yeah.
So they were saying like, oh, Kelvin, you are like a seller. How come you trick people into investing into scams? The thing is, that was just my research, so I just share it out lah. So now I realize like not everything can be shared out, even if I know about it, even if I think they are good. Because since I'm this large of a public figure already, I have more or less a certain responsibility to play. Right. Not to share out risky stuff to people. Right. Because back to my point, only beginners will be watching my video, and if they think that I'm sharing this stuff is good, they might just go in without researching themselves. So nowadays, I will only share out stuff which I think are good for people, but not necessarily good for me, probably.
Right, understand.
Yeah.
So it has become more of in the beginning, you're really just sharing like purely, authentically, genuinely your journey. Whatever you're learning, you just share. But over time, because you have kind of grown to become, when you say something, like people do listen. People do take action. Yes. Right? And you feel like maybe you have a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah, I think it's very huge responsibility now already. So I dare not anyhow share.
Right. Because someone's life savings might be depleted because they listen to you and things like that, right? So like you kind of your positioning has kind of evolved a little bit from just sharing whatever to kind of being a little bit more curated. Yeah, correct. Right. To kind of have your audience in mind also lah, right? Rather than just like, oh, anything lah, just go, right? Which is correct. In the beginning, because you had nothing to lose ma. Correct. Right. And now it's not only you have something to lose, but the people that support you and follow you, they might have something to lose as well. So does this give you any pressure? Because I think generally when it comes to investing, right, when it comes to like personal finance, a lot of things are very personal. That's why it's called personal finance. And even like for you, you are putting out stuff that is very personal to you. You're sharing your income, your salary, how much you're making from option trades and things like that. And it's just very, very bare, very, very transparent. And people get to judge you. Like just fully judge you for like what you do, who you are, and of course, I guess there are certain aspects of your life that you don't share, but like for a lot of part to a lot of people, that's very personal, like your income, your trades and things like that. You share very transparently, and people comment, right? Whether it's positive, neutral, or negative, people comment. So I was wondering how you manage and deal with these comments as say a retail investor, because this might affect so if like the whole world is telling you, Kelvin, you're holding too much like Tesla, like it's retarded, then like, but you at some point in your career you had like very high conviction in certain things that you're buying. Right. So did all these comments, I assume it must be quite difficult to kind of balance and figure out like what are these comments that is worth considering and what are just like nonsense that you should ignore. How have you managed that? So for your example, the Tesla thing, that did change my opinion a little,
because back then I think not just me lah, almost everyone who was listening to this chicken genius guy, they were more or less dumping all their life savings into Tesla lah. Yeah, over time I spoke to a few content creators. That I got quite a bit of comments. They said they were like, "Oh, how come you are like all in on Tesla, or at the same time you're talking about diversification?" So that made me realize that like, hey, actually what they are saying is true. That I don't have to just all in on just one stock. So I have a bit of a split personality. While I'm all in into Tesla, I'm telling people to diversify. As a beginner, you should diversify. Then I realized, hey, actually I should listen to my own advice. So right now I'm just changing my portfolio to follow my own advice. Yeah.
Yeah, so that did like whether it's by people who are a little bit more accredited like fellow content creators or financial advisors, or just random people that comment on your videos. Like this does affect your general conviction in certain things. Right? So I would imagine that there will be a little bit of like some anxiousness and fear involved, because like you did your research, you know the numbers, and you know that like in 10 years, 20 years, whatever, like shit's probably gonna work out, but because people have different opinions, because they might come from a different maybe cultural background or different opinion on like what finance should be. Just like maybe in Asia, it's like freaking just real estate lah. People just love, in the past especially, now a bit harder, but maybe have a different opinion from you, and they don't fully understand your personal finance, even though you are sharing so openly, right? But your own conviction, your own research is your own. Do you feel like that being so transparent online as a creator, especially for you like your type of content in the beginning, would negatively affect your choices? Because one of the things that most finance people like yourself advocate is you just buy the things that you believe in, you dollar cost average over a 10 to 20 year period, you'll be fine. But your strategy keeps changing. Because you keep like reading comments, listening to people, then like, hey, this makes sense. Then like it does make sense, of course. But like many roads lead to Rome. Different things make sense for different people, and we can all get there together, just different ways, right? Do you feel like this might, even though YouTube has become your like main income source, this might potentially negatively affect your overall gains in the long term as an investor?
I think it okay. So the thing about, let's use Tesla as example lah. The thing that if I'm going all in on Tesla, if it goes up, great. If it doesn't go up, then I'm screwed, right? That's the risk that I'm taking. So what I realized after so many people were telling me that it's dangerous, then what I realized that is true, that it's dangerous. There's no denying it. The YouTube beginner teaching part side of me agrees with that part.
Right.
But the risk taking part of me, no lah, it's safe lah. All the YouTubers say it's safe. So the thing I realized is that after a while, I realized that I don't have to rely on just Tesla, because I have my YouTube income as the main source of my income. And that also, by changing over, I can also prove that I don't need to all in on one stock to get rich. So that also appeals to the YouTube beginner part of me. So I think that works well. Also for my own sanity lah. Because my wife is also part of that group. It's risky.
Right.
So negatively impact, definitely, especially if Tesla goes up, right? But I don't think I want to risk my sleep on that part. I rather prove that I can survive without all in on Tesla, than just risking all my entire retirement funds on just one stock lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you basically took your own advice and you diversified.
Yeah, I took my own advice.
Because this is something that I've always been very curious, because I think for you are quite a critical thinker, evidently, right? You're quite a critical thinker, and you do consider, like, you don't just listen to everybody, you do consider, but because I have been a follower for a while, I have seen you kind of change in terms of your general approach to things. And I was just wondering, if like all these, being a public figure has kind of contributed to that. Whereas somebody like Chris, who I've also been following for a while, Chris is very, very firm on, like, he has been, I mean, I don't really know, maybe I'll ask him later, but he has been very firm. It's like he's like a full-on CPF safety net, like whatever people say, he knows, he's very convicted, and he just follows his own thing like all the way. And I mean, of course, pros and cons, right? Pros and cons. It's like is either you listen too much or you listen too little. Like, where's the balance? Right. Where's the balance? So like, I'm not saying that like you're right or Chris is right. And like many roads lead to Rome kind of thing.
Correct.
But I would assume that because we're all humans, like when people say we good, when people say we bad, when people say like this thing good, this thing bad, like naturally we kind of have some emotional attachment to certain things.
Right.
Especially if this thing has now become your main only income source. The emotional attachment becomes even more great, because any decision that you make don't just affect your investment portfolio anymore. It affects your income, affects your family, affects your kid, whether your kid can go uni or not, kind of thing, right? So I would think that there's a lot of pressure, emotional attachment to the decisions that you make that is involved in your career.
You mean the investment decisions?
In just everything that you decide.
Just everything.
Yeah, because like the type of content you put out, which largely relates to your personal investment decisions, which will affect your income, your family, and whether you are able to fire, or like retire early and things like that. Do you feel like that pressure?
Actually, not really. Yeah. So when I do make certain decisions, it is always taken into both viewpoints, the bad and the good lah. And I'm the kind of person who needs the push to do certain things lah. For example, even for hiring editor, it took me almost 1 year to finally like, oh, okay, I need to hire, I can't take it. It was after a 1 year kind of thinking lah. Then it's the same for investments. It's the same for YouTube. Even like, okay, like right now my YouTube growth is stagnating. If you just check online, you'll see my growth is stagnating. It's not as fast as compared to the past.
Right.
That's why I've been thinking of branching out to teach courses. So this courses thing has been on my mind for over 1 year already. And I know the whole stigma of Singaporeans, hey, you're teaching courses. Are you evil? Are you trying to steal people's money?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I've been slowly trying out this kind of stuff. So none of the decisions are made lightly. As to whether I'm pressured to do anything or not, it's not that pressure. Probably because I have no time to feel pressured.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, if I want to do something, I will just take my slow time to research about it. Talk to a few more people before finally making the decision.
Right. So quite rational. Like quite rational.
It's very rational. Kind of. It's slowly step by step. It's never a rash decision.
Right. But it's still is being affected. I mean, it's quite. I mean, most people. We are all humans, so we are all emotional in some sense. So to be able to do that, what you do to basically take your time to kind of rationalize it, to figure it out, I think it's quite difficult to do. Because
it's actually not, because I'm a programmer, everything is based on logic.
Correct. I think, okay, for me, speaking from personal experience, like that's why I want to talk to you to understand. So there are, I guess, two sides of people. The one that is like, just say, just do, don't think first. Just do, right? I fall into that category. And then like maybe there's you who like rationalize, you have your tables, your charts, you figure it out. And you know like, okay, if I do this, like the pros are this, the cons are this. So you make a rational decision. I think both has its own dangers. And like, based on my personal experience, I think like going down the analysis path, there could be like you could have information paralysis because you research so much, you go down the rabbit hole, and you are kind of absorbing so much information that you end up you can't really decide anymore because it's just too much information out there. Do you feel like that happens to you, or you don't feel that information paralysis? You are so okay with like analyzing over time.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I don't feel paralyzed. It just comes naturally as a program.
Yeah. Do you feel like that might be of course, it's an advantage. It's obviously worked out for you.
Yeah.
But do you feel like sometimes that might be potentially a disadvantage because certain things like when opportunities don't come all the time, and when an opportunity comes and you spend too long analyzing it, trying to collect data information to analyze, maybe the opportunity might just pass you by. Have you ever kind of like considered that as a
so far none lah. So far none. Like if I see an opportunity, I will be able to recognize it. So far, luckily or unluckily, none of the opportunity has passed by yet lah.
Right.
But I think even if it passed by, I think it's more or less fated lah. You're not ready to take on this job or whatever. When you're ready, a better opportunity might come. Like what Steve Jobs said, right? The dots will only connect when you look backwards. So even for this YouTube thing, even for my job losing, when I lost my job as a programmer, I think it is a connecting part lah. So I will just let fate play out everything.
Right. Trust the process lah.
Yeah, just trust the process lah.
It's quite. Do you feel like you have kind of adopted or kind of embraced this whole trust the process in due time kind of thing because of your journey as an investor? Because that seems to be the general trajectory when it comes to investing as well, right?
I think I give up my fate to the world. What I can control is just like, it's basically like what people say, like when you're investing, you just do all your research, then the rest let the market decide. I think I'm that kind of person also. Even in life lah, I've married my wife, I have my kid, then the rest I will just try my best, spend time with my kids, spend time with my wife. Whatever happens, it will just happen on its own, and I don't have control over it lah. The stuff that I can do, okay, maybe like saving, buying insurance, work my ass off this YouTube thing. These are the stuff that I can control. The rest, I don't want to go and bother about it. No, I have the time to bother about it. So that's my plan lor. Just control what I can control. The rest, just let it play out by itself.
But you don't get like emotionally affected by it at all.
I don't have time to get emotionally affected.
You know what? Maybe let me change my perspective a little bit, because since the start, since you walk in the door, right, you keep saying that you don't have time and you're very busy, which I believe you, like you're obviously very busy. So ever since like you're doing your job, you're making 3 videos a day, then you lose your job and now you're making like 4 videos a week. Sorry, 3 videos a week to 4 videos a week, and it obviously takes a lot of energy to manage editors, to come up with scripts, content, and to like look at comments and then analyze and everything. I'm quite curious to know why do you? I mean, because it started out as just share, right? But then now it's become very intentional, and it has become so intentional that this is your job already. Yeah. Right. So what is like the main thing that keeps you going, even though you're tired and it's just super busy all the time. You got no, like today is your only rest day in a long time and you choose to come here to do this with me. What is your motivation for doing this?
I think the long-term goal, I have no idea. The short-term goal is I need to reach $1 million in net worth first. As they say, the financial independence, retire early. I need to reach this amount first. Once I reach this amount, the next step is to allow my entire family not to be worried about money. So that's the next step. Then the third step, I think it's not about the materialistic thing. Like when people have a lot more money, they will say, I want to upgrade my house or buy a car. For me, it's not about that. It's first to provide for myself. Next is to provide for my wife. Third is to make sure my kid has enough money in the future. So that's the third step. Probably the fourth step is maybe we can retire. So that's the final goal. Anything more than that is just is the luxury already. Right. Yeah, so that's my thing. I'm trying to sprint towards it as fast as I can.
Okay, which is also something that I think a lot about, which is, I mean, like all of us, we want to financial independence, retire early, whatever, and like 1 million-ish seems to be like the mark that many people, including myself, were aiming for. But that is very pragmatic. It's a goal. But why do you want to FIRE in the first place? Why do you want to achieve financial freedom for yourself, your family, and that's why do you want to do that? I don't like working. Like since young, I like playing games. Even for my job, I work as a game programmer because I like playing games. Right.
then this whole, but I know that if you are playing games, then you can't be earning money too, and then you have a problem later on in life with your retirement and stuff. So I thought, why not just compress the entire 20 to 60 is 40 years of work into just 5 years or 10 years and just be done with it. So that's my plan to just compress that part. In Chinese, it's called 先苦后甜 You eat the bitter part of it, then you only eat the sweet part. So that's my plan. But for that, I know that I'm giving up a lot of enjoyment in the middle.
Right.
But the thing is, because of my family, because of my wife, right, she likes to go for holidays, she likes to eat good stuff. Not to say it's bad. That brings me back. That allows me to have a bit of time to enjoy for myself. Yeah, and even spending time with the kids. So I forced myself to stop working by 6 and start and use that time, the remaining time, until 9 or 10 to spend with the kids. So that my family allows me to relax a bit. Other than that, everything is just working.
I mean, I get it. But like I guess, do you enjoy your work?
Yeah, I definitely enjoy that. I enjoy the sharing. I enjoy the sharing part. I enjoy the higher views or whatever. I also enjoy people say like, "Oh, thank you. Because of you, I learned more today." I think these are the part that I enjoy but the scripting part, the editing part, I think is tough. I don't really enjoy it. The research part, yes. But the scripting part, I feel is very mafan.
Yeah, because doing this, being a YouTuber, like especially for what you do, it takes a lot of like behind the scenes work, and you're always busy. I'm always tired, and I was just wondering if it makes sense for you.
So the analogy I would say is you are basically running a marathon. You are tired. But you do enjoy the running process and you do enjoy the finishing line parts. The middle part, not so much. The tired part, not so much.
Right.
So I think that's the same for me. I'm trying to run this marathon. I'm enjoying the researching part, not necessarily the tired part, and the sharing part. So some of the parts I do enjoy, some of the parts I hate it a lot.
I see. Because your goal, I would say like reaching like $1 million is more of like a byproduct of like what we're doing now. It's just, so generally is like you said, like for you, like your wife is that balance, allows you kind of like chill a bit. Your family is that balance for you. But if you were if $1 million is the goal, like to reach financial independence and whatever, right? Like isn't there a better way to do it? Like don't you feel like based on your capabilities and like your critical analysis, you could probably do something else that gets you more income every month? Because this YouTube thing is can be a little bit scary in a sense where there's a lot of fluctuation. And it's not like S&P 500 after 10 years you'll be good, because you really don't know, right? You really don't know for this one. So aren't there like a lot of other things that you could possibly do that gives you like not just stable income, but like stability is an illusion, right? But like more income, like you can do 20, 30, 40K a month kind of thing. Because if you're just like 先苦后甜, like as you mentioned, you can 苦 even more to generate this amount faster. Like why don't you do that?
I think for me, I have a problem with taking money from people. I find it hard to take money from people. Okay, for example, this whole YouTube thing, it works because the advertisers are paying me.
Right.
The sponsors like Weibo, Mumu, all these are paying me. So I don't have to take money from the viewers.
Right.
And I know the viewers are like beginners who have just graduated. And I keep telling them, you have to save as much as you can. I can't just say, you have to save as much as you can, but you can save some money to pay me. So that was my strategy all along. Even recently, I've started releasing some Excel spreadsheet. I decided not to charge for it and just give it out for free. And it's because I know it will be useful for people, and I don't see the point getting paid $1 or $2 for the spreadsheet. You just save the money for yourself. So that's where then that's the part where I have trouble with. Even for the part where I was trialing this one-on-one thing out, where you are because people were asking me, hey Kevin, do you do one-on-ones?
Right, like a fee-based consultation kind of thing.
Yeah, fee-based. Then I was like, but how do I make it worth it for me and for you? So in the end, I decided to settle on $50 for 30 minutes. And some people were like, hey, how come you are charging? You are becoming evil. You have changed.
Yeah.
The thing is, $50 for $50, I'm doing 2 hours worth of work. For pre-call, I'm doing all the research. Post-call, I'm doing all the compilation sent to you. Total is 2 hours for $50. Then in the end, I realized, okay, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Let's stop doing this.
Right.
And even $50 is cheap. Some people might find it expensive.
Right.
So in the end, I decided, okay, why not just look into doing courses instead? Courses is back to the same thing, like courses is evil. So, but then those courses, in the end, it will pay out for the people who attend it, because I'm intending to do it like, okay, I will make it as risk-free for you as possible. That's not the final plan, but that's my plan. And after learning this course, you can straight away see the immediate effect of earning money over the long term, not short term. So that's my plan. I will try taking money from people. I don't know if it's called that way.
Right.
Charging people for knowledge. But that knowledge is immediately usable to earn money. So that's the part I'm okay with. But for the rest, YouTube, this kind of knowledge, if you want for free, you can just watch on YouTube. You don't need to pay me to get it. Yeah.
It's quite a lot of dilemma also lah.
Yeah, it's a dilemma. Because I want to help people, but I don't want to get paid from them to help them. This kind of thing.
Right. Therein lies, I guess, the struggle lah. In terms of, everything that you have done, you have taken like quite a while to decide because of the dilemma. You want to ensure that basically you're not being a bully lah. You don't like come and eat up people's money, hard-earned money. But at the same time, you also need to look out for yourself. You need to survive lah. Right?
Yeah, it's a dilemma basically. Yeah.
And I think that is based on what you're saying, at least, this seems like you're handling it pretty well. It seems like you're not very, you don't have like some trauma like dealing with this, managing basically the well-being of your audience versus your own well-being, which is also very important.
Probably my well-being is dead already.
So which brings me back to the, like, you're a tough cookie, man. Like, which brings me back to the question, like, what are your but I still don't really get what your motivations for doing this are, because the $1 million retire early is the byproduct. But why are you doing that? Because it's obviously very hard for you. It's a tough, whatever you have chosen to do, right? It's very hard.
Right. I don't know if you watched this Breaking Bad. This guy was selling drugs.
Yeah.
So in the end, right? In the end, he just tell his wife, I did this because I enjoy it. I think it's the same for me. I just like doing this. But in the process of it, I might hurt myself.
Right.
Maybe I might hurt my family. But I think that's the part that I like. I just like the sharing part. The struggle will come. It's a byproduct of this entire thing. I think it's unavoidable. Probably can be avoided if I just sub it out to someone else. I'll just hire people to do it for me. But if I do that, I will just lose the enjoyment of this whole entire process.
Right.
It'll be meaningless if someone is doing it for me. So I have to do it. I do all the research by myself because I just like to look at all these parts. So I just need to do it.
So at the end of the day, it's still because you enjoy it.
I just enjoy it.
You enjoy,
even
like,
though it's painful.
Right. I guess, like, for you, maybe you have thought that there are other things that could potentially bring you greater financial rewards to hit your $1 million sooner, but you might not enjoy the process as much.
Correct. Like, imagine like 100K, even if I charge like $100 or even just $10, it's actually quite easy to hit $1 million. But the thing is, will I enjoy it? Will it be beneficial to the other side of the people to pay me? So that's the part I have to balance it out.
Yeah, I think that is it's a very tough thing to do. I think, like, for me personally, I also struggle with that because I think for most of us, I mean, I'm obviously not a YouTuber like you, not full time, not like my main income source. But I think for us, people who provide services, right? For some people, if the motivation is money, then the strategy is clear. But I mean, for me, like similar to you, I want to enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to make sure I bring value to the client.
Correct.
Doesn't mean that the market charge 2,000 means I want to charge 2,000 because
Correct.
2,000 might not make sense for my audience, my clients, and whoever I'm working with. And to what end do we is that balance, right, between like trying to make a living for yourself, like make it worth it for yourself versus the value to your audience? I think that is a struggle always, because if it balances too much to like helping people, which obviously we want to do, then you might be sacrificing yourself in the process.
So then that's the other thing. If I can hit this amount, maybe not 1 million, if I can hit a certain amount, if I can live comfortably, then that gives me more leeway to
help people. Because you
But-
don't actually need to make money.
Yeah. But now I need it. I need
Correct.
it both for myself and my family. But if I don't need it anymore, that allows me to help a lot more people. That's also part of my plan.
That's something that's very noble. Why do you want to help people?
I don't know. I just find it natural thing to do. Like why not just help someone to get back up, to like lift them up lah. I don't know.
I mean, you must realize that is not very normal lah. In our, I mean, to kind of, I think I have a lot of respect for you, obviously, because
I think I remember. I can trace it back to my secondary school days. I was good at study. Probably because my parents keep sending me to tuition. I was good at understanding stuff lah. So when people ask me to help them on like math questions or whatever, I was able to help them and they understood. I think that gives me satisfaction.
Fulfillment.
That gives me, I think the word is fulfillment. So it may not benefit me. Maybe they will in the end, they will have higher grades than me. But I don't need that. Right? I just need that fulfillment that I managed to help someone.
Well, I think that is very, I mean, it's amazing because I think in an Asian society, I mean, you were Malaysian, now you're in Singapore. I mean, whether it's Malaysia, Singapore, or like many Asian societies, a lot of education systems and like our parents' teachings and society teachings have made us very capitalistic. Right? In especially if you go to like good schools, it's like I don't teach you because if I teach you means I lose out kind of thing. And many people find their financial success or like worldly success have a good car, good house, whatever, is because of this general approach, right? To kind of be a bit more capitalistic.
Actually, this one I'm not sure. I'm not sure is it a Singapore thing or whatever. But in Malaysia, I don't feel that.
Right.
Yeah, but that's another whole political thing altogether.
I mean, maybe it's not. I don't think it's just a Singaporean thing. I think even in the US, it's very capitalistic. Like many people like everywhere in the world, especially with the digital economy, everybody is very capitalistic. That's why there are so many people coming out as gurus selling whatever, drop shipping or whatever. Humans are generally very capitalistic. So for you to be able to do this, to be like, just help people, and you get like your ROI is not money. Your ROI is joy of helping people.
It is. I think that money definitely plays a part. It's not a big part. It's a small part.
Right. Money is the byproduct. It's not your motivation. Which I think, like even when you were in school, to be able to have that kind of mindset is quite rare. I think.
I don't think it's rare.
Really? You don't think
it's
so?
Okay. Like even now, I do help people like Chris, all the other smaller YouTubers. I did interview a girl the other day. She was at 4K. I said, why not? Let me just help you boost it up since you want to do this.
Right.
So I just interview her, boost her up. So that was my strategy last year. I go and interview all the smaller YouTubers.
Yeah.
If they work out, then great. So this year I find it a bit not much time, so I stopped doing that for a while.
So I guess for you, your main motivations, apart from your goal of hitting, $1 million to retire be financially free, I guess for you, like the whole reason why you're doing this, even though sometimes it's tough, is because you want to help people. And that is you get fulfillment and satisfaction through helping people. And that is your main motivation, right? Because that is, I honestly think it's quite rare. I think for many people, that is not the motivation.
Serious. Like people I talk to, they have this kind of thinking also.
Because it's like a I also think it's like a birds of the same feather flock together kind of thing. Because you are this way, you probably tend to attract people who are this way as well.
Maybe. Yeah.
I also have a lot of associates or friends who think like that, but there is always a struggle to be like that, because at what point is the balance of sacrificing too much to help people, right? Because we're not like multi-millionaires with like endless time and money to give, right? Because it's the challenge is always to, yes, we want to help people, but what is that balance? Because if you sacrifice yourself in the process, then like you said, you cannot help people because you die already. You sacrifice yourself in the process, so the balance is tough. And I think if we look at society, just the sheer amount of content creators, YouTubers, or like people like being like I'm not gonna name names lah, but I guess like certain companies, even in Singapore, companies that do very well overseas IPO, maybe the business strategy is very capitalistic in nature. Don't necessarily benefit the vendors or the customers and things like that. Maybe you have an idea of like some of these companies, and it's very capitalistic in nature. And especially if, like you said, generally in the beginning, you started off with partners, and when other people's opinions come into the mix, it's a bit different already.
Yeah.
Because right now, Kelvin Learns Investing is still owned by Kelvin, and you have no real, like investment partner or whatever telling you that, bro, we need to double our income, we double our revenue kind of thing. You don't have lah, because like so like you everything is internalized. You balance it. But I think for many businesses, many things out there, that is an additional challenge, or like to have a secondary voice, whether it's an investor or society, and the general society upbringing of many people is capitalistic in nature. So I still think that you maybe you'll disagree with me, but I still think that like your general approach and mindset is quite rare, even though you are surrounded by people that are like that. I think if we just zoom out and look at the general world, it is quite rare lah, which is why people like you are very treasured, maybe because there is people trust you, because I think deep inside people know that you have no real agenda lah. There is
I feel it's not as rare as you might think. Yeah, that's my view.
yeah, for sure.
I feel there are a lot more people who are more willing, more generous to help others. You just have to find in the right place lah. Like even in Reddit, like there are some forums like, okay, let's say Singapore FI forum. The people in there are more generous to share their knowledge. Like okay, in other forums, like no stupid questions. People are also willing to answer questions, this kind of stuff. So I think you just have to find the right places lah.
Right.
There is of this kind of people lah.
Yeah, I guess it's a balance lah. There are like one kind of people, and there are the people that help people.
It's a balance. Yeah,
it's a balance lah. So like because your motivation is to help people, and you manage to kind of grow quite quickly as a YouTuber. Like in your opinion, right? Why do you think, apart from like being relatable, why do you think people continue to watch your content?
So right now my strategy is to talk about more controversial stuff. It's like recently I talked about was the Singapore HDB 99 years delays. What will happen after that? Will you lose your HDB? Or the like CPF a scam? This kind of stuff I like to talk about. So that's my first strategy, to talk about controversial stuff that Singaporeans like to, I don't know, unite together on.
Okay.
Then the other thing is to talk about like savings accounts, the basic stuff like how to invest, the savings accounts, things that a beginner would search about. So my strategy is to cover every single topic that a beginner would search about.
Right.
Like if you graduate, how to find a job. Okay, so I interview a job career guy.
Right.
If you how do I save my money? So I made a video for that. So I basically cover everything. So if wherever you search on YouTube, whatever topic you search on YouTube, my face will appear there.
Right. So you become more of a generalist. Like it's not specifically to not really personal finance anymore. It's more like a how-to guide to life.
How to guide. then some people will say, oh, Kelvin, you have changed. Your topics have changed. How come you're not talking about investing anymore?
Right.
So a while ago, I saw this. It's a channel. It's a dad lah. How to dad or something like that.
Right.
It's basically a channel where for people who have lost their father. So he teach them how to shave.
Right. I saw this channel also.
So I'm trying to be that guy.
Right.
To be your koko lah, to be your koko when you graduate, so that it's just to help them when you need to.
That's very nice lah. I mean, like everything that you are doing seems to revolve even strategic key decisions that you make that is supposedly beneficial to yourself, like oh, you cover all grounds and things like that. It seems to all go back to the main motivation of you just want to help people lah.
Yeah,
right?
it's just that it's so simple lah.
It's probably so simple.
So simple.
So it is probably, I think that's probably why you are so somewhat successful as a public figure as well lah, because your motivations are correct.
Yeah.
And maybe
but if you think about it in a helping myself in a way, like if I help someone eventually down the road, if you think about it, there's actually a social debt. Not that I want to create it. There's actually a social debt because I help the person may feel in debt to help me back in the future.
Yeah, but surely that's not your goal.
Yeah, that's not the goal, but that's how the way things work. Like if you help someone, let's say if you help a millionaire or whatever, in the future the guy may feel grateful and like hire you back for a job or something like that.
True, but if that is your motivation, then it's wrong. It's okay.
Correct.
I don't want to say it's wrong lah, but
so that's not the motivation, but that's the byproduct of it.
Right.
Whoever you help, the 100,000 people that you help, eventually one of them will come and help you back in the future.
Sure.
So that's my thinking. If the more people I can help in the future, if I ever need help, I can probably rely on some of them.
Right. But you don't expect that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
Basically, you're just doing what you believe in.
Yeah, correct.
Sharing what you believe in. Yeah. And if people help, then great lah. If
correct.
not, then at least you've put out some good stuff into the world and you got no regrets.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that so back when when Steve Jobs died, right? I had a bit of existence crisis, something like that. What if I die one day and no one remembers me?
Right.
So that also part of my motivation for doing all this. I want people to remember me for the things that I've done lah. Not just as ashes in somewhere crematorium or whatever. I just need to have a lasting impact on someone else's life lah.
Right. Like leave some kind of legacy behind lah, basically.
So that when I die, people will cry or whatever. This kind of stuff lah.
Oh, that's very interesting, Kelvin.
Do you ever wonder in the future, 100 years from now, who will remember you?
Oh, for me, I don't care.
You don't care, right? For me, I do care. I want to make an impact on this guy's life so that in the future I can still be remembered. Oh, that guy Kelvin.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why I say you are very noble, and I think it's very noble to put I think in many ways you do put people first. And I think it's very noble because even though you mentioned that you want people to remember you lah, you want to be some kind of you don't want to be a note at the end of the book lah. You want to be some paragraph, someone's book or something. I think it's very noble because even though I think a lot of people, like you mentioned lah, I do believe a lot of people want to help. And I do believe a lot of people have the heart to help, but many people just don't really have that ability to, whether it's financially or for you didn't have the ability to, but you made it happen. You made a platform to help people, right? But I think there are many people, which is how I guess people it's like the little things that people do, like helping people on Reddit, Sidley, whatever. And many people do want to help, but probably not at because this is literally your motivation. Like people do it as a, by the way, but
yeah, because they don't have the avenue. If you have a full-time job, how are you going to help people?
But you also had a full-time job and you decided to kind of,
But that was just part of my project.
Yeah, motivation. The motivations are slightly different, I guess. Because at the end of the day, I believe at the core of most people, we are good people lah, for most people.
Yeah.
And we all want to help, but then it comes to a balance thing. Like at what point do you sacrifice too much to help people? And it's a very nuanced and very complicated, I think. But that's why I think it's very noble, because like for you, right, you are sacrificing yourself to a certain extent with the motivations of helping people.
Not really sacrificing. So there's a by the way thing.
Right.
Since I'm earning by the way, why not just help you?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like imagine if I'm not earning anything from YouTube, I wouldn't even be trying to help people in that matter already. I would just be focusing more on myself, earning money for my family. So it's not like what you say, I'm noble or anything. It's a by the way, since this is working out, I can just use this opportunity to help you guys.
Because you have the ability to. Yeah, I mean, it's still it's very. I still think it's a very nice thing to do, lah. I mean, whether you think it's noble or not, I guess that is besides the point, lah. The point is that you are helping people, and people do feel appreciative of the gesture, and you do have an impact in people's lives, lah. For the better or for worse, lah. You know, we don't fully know always. And that's why you keep doing this, right?
Right.
And you will probably continue to do this. Even actually, I'm quite curious. Like, one last thing I want to ask you: when you achieve financial freedom, will you continue to make videos?
I think not as much. Definitely not as much. 4 videos a week, I think it's killing me, man. Right now I'm working 80 hours, even with editors.
This is where the sacrificing yourself part comes.
But also because I like working. I like being busy. But I do also like to play games. Even if I'm not working, I'll be playing games already. Like a while ago, I was trying out this crypto game for one of my videos lah. I ended up
the Axie Infinity kind of.
I ended up getting hooked on the game. I have to force myself to delete the game. And like, okay, let's get back to work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually a bit of a video game addict. But if I'm more free, I will spend more time for myself playing games. Right. Helping people, again, it's a byproduct thing.
I see.
If I'm not playing games, I will be helping people. So my priority will still be playing games, spending time with my family. But I will still produce a video. It'll be like a bit like the 1M65 Mr. Lu thing.
Right. He just do, by the way.
If I'm happy, I will come and do a
because he can.
stream.
Because
I can.
He can.
It's also like what Chicken Genius is doing right now. He posts a video because he can. Other times, right now he's in Bali, he's enjoying his life.
Yeah.
So I imagine that would be my life. Happy help. Just post a video. Otherwise, just play games. Enjoy my life. I've done my part. I've done my working part already for the entire 40 years.
Right.
Stripped down into 10 years. So I've done the part. I'm not going to continue working as hard.
So the question is always I have this discussion with my friends quite often lah. Because all of us are like a group of my friends. We are also like going for like FIRE and whatever, and like saving hard, working hard, and all that. But the question is, what happens if something happens and you 辛苦 but the 后天 doesn't come because you fall very, very sick or you die?
Yeah.
Then what are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually prepared for that possibility already. I know it can happen already. I've seen friends who have cancer and pass away. So even at my age, so a few already. So I know this is definitely possible. But I know it's rather than being worried about that, why not just try it out? If it doesn't work out, then at least this amount can be passed down to my family.
Right.
At least this part has benefited my family already. It doesn't have to benefit me. If it benefits me, then good lah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm planning to aim for this retirement thing within 5 years already. I can see the end already. Finally,
the light come already.
I can see the light already. I'm very near. So if I pass away before that, then at least I've tried. If I've not tried, I will have to work for another 20, 30 years. Another 30 years.
Right.
That's the part that I don't want to go through lah.
But is there a balance? Because like right now you are very hardcore, right? But surely there is some kind of balance where like you let loose a little bit, not pressure yourself too hard.
So I think that's where my family comes in. My wife forces me, maybe. Yeah, she say we have to go back to Malaysia, visit our parents. They're like, okay, I have to start working. Oh, when I go back to Malaysia, I feel relaxed. At the same time, I feel uneasy that I'm not doing any work. I feel bad. Like, I should work. I don't know if people feel that. So I think my nature is to keep myself busy lah.
But you enjoy it because
I enjoy it. It's like running a marathon. You're looking at the goal, and you are trying to reach there as fast as possible without dying. So that's the main point. So I think that's my strategy right now, to just chiong as hard as I can and reach there and just enjoy life after. But I don't know if it's the correct strategy or not.
What is correct for someone might not be correct for you, and vice versa. Everybody has a different approach and motivation to why they do things, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for this is a little bit long episode, but I really enjoyed talking to you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And I think you are a little bit more complicated than you let off in your videos.
Oh, okay.
I think you're more a lot more of a critical thinker than you come across, in your videos now, because everything is so simple in your videos.
So simple, right?
Everything's like, everything good, kind of thing. But there are a lot of very deep considerations behind certain actions that you take. And I think that doesn't always fully come across in your videos because everything is so simple. So I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me and with the people that are watching this, whoever they are. And I look forward to hearing about your retirement journey.
Same.
Okay. Let me know when you retire. Okay, thank you, Kelvin. For those people that don't watch your channel, which I believe is not many people, can you just drop your socials to the people that might be watching the podcast?
So you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Though the rest are not as active, but you can just follow me on YouTube lah. You can search for Kelvin Learns Investing. I talk mainly about, again, savings, personal finance, investments, credit cards. Basically, everything that you want to know, I talk about them. So do follow me.
Last comment. Your hair has kind of whitened a lot since your first video.
That's actually a genetic thing. It's
not the stress.
Part of it stress, but it's definitely genetic. My father's hair was already white at 30 something. Same for my siblings. So no worries about that.
Okay, so you're still healthy and moving and reaching your goal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelvin, and we'll see you next time on the One Day at a Time podcast. Peace.